Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be working on our golf cart restoration again, and we're going to be building a front seat with a backrest, and then on the back of the golf cart we're going to be putting a storage rack or cargo area. I'll also be using the armrests from the original seats. To get started, I'm going to cut some plywood down to size. This is going to be the base of both the backrest and the bottom portion of the seat. I'll round over those corners to make them look a little bit nicer. Then I'll take it over to the golf cart, clamp it down in place, and mark the mounting bolts. That way I can add some T-nuts in to make this a little bit easier. I'm also going to drill out a few holes just to allow the air to escape. As you sit down, it builds air pressure in that seat. It needs somewhere to go. So these holes will allow that pressure to be released and doesn't cause damage by tearing the staples or fabric. Then I'll layer some foam on top of this. I'm going for about 6 to 8 inches of foam, and I got just about the densest foam that I could find. For these seat cushions, you need something that's not going to squish all the way to the bottom. However, our craft store didn't have much of this foam in stock, and so I bought all that they had and then had to improvise and use some other foam and layer it to get the height that we wanted for this cushion. I found it really helpful to clamp down the foam and compress it a bit while I'm upholstering it. So I've got 2 clamps on here holding that down so I can easily staple this into place. Once I remove those clamps, it adds a lot more pressure and tightens everything up really nice. You don't have to do this, but I didn't have to pull that hard on the leather trying to compress everything and keep it tight because it was already held into place. Now I'm going to pleat the corners just a little bit, try to make it look as nice as possible on the outside, and then I'll staple this like crazy to make sure that this doesn't come loose. If you haven't seen part 1 and 2 of this golf cart rebuild, you can go check that out. I'll leave the link right here on the screen, or at the end of this video once you're done, you can go check that out. But there's been a lot of work done on this golf cart so far, and there's even more to come, so stay tuned for more videos after this one. Now I've got the backrest and the seat finished. I'm going to make a few pieces to attach these together to hold up the backrest. The armrest alone won't do the trick, so I've got some 1/4 inch thick aluminum. I've bent them at almost a 90-degree angle. I want a little bit of a tilt to it so it's a little bit more than 90 degrees. And then I'll use this to fasten the 2 pieces of the seat together. This was actually left over from the golf bag rack on the back of this golf cart that we weren't going to use and didn't need anymore, so I was able to reuse some of that metal for the seat. So quick test, it's really comfortable, works great, and we like it. We're going to move on to the back of this golf cart. We're making a storage compartment or a basket for all our garden produce as we're carting that up the hill. I also want this storage rack on the back to double as a seat if we need it, so I'll be able to take the back gate off of the basket and this will open up sort of like a bench seat on the back. I don't want to have to deal with any wood finishes on this or the wood rack on the back rotting out, so I'm going to be using some composite deck boards, and this turned out really nice. The only thing is the edges don't necessarily match exactly, but I'm okay with that. I really like how this will probably be less maintenance and last a lot longer than actual wood. Now on the back of the seat, the backrest, I'm going to finish off with some of the deck boards as well. Right here I'm cutting a channel with the router so that sets right over top of the aluminum brackets that we have for the backrest, and this will finish it off really nice, cover up all the staples and the plywood that's underneath, and this way it will match the storage compartment on the back of the golf cart. Now for the back rack or bench seat to support enough weight for probably 2 people, I'm going to weld a frame together real quick so that I can bolt this to the golf cart and mount the storage rack directly onto that. This is probably overkill, but wanted it to be more than enough to hold the weight that we're going to be putting on it. Now I'm by no means a professional welder. I'm not that great at it at all, but I do enjoy trying new things and learning and getting better at different skills, so I'm going to have fun welding this frame together. But I'm sure there's much better welders watching this video right now, so please don't look at my welds too closely. After taking the grinder to this and cleaning up some of the welds that'll be most visible on this frame, I'm going to add some primer real quick and seal this, and then come back with some of the shell white that we used on the rest of the golf cart body and paint this to match. Once the frame's fully dry, I'll go ahead and drill out the mounting holes that I need to add to this so I can mount it to the golf cart. I have 3 original bolts that mount directly to the frame of the golf cart through the body right here, and then I'm going to also add 4 more holes into the fiberglass body to support the back of the frame. I'm going to be using some of these rubber washers to sort of cushion that and keep it up off of the fiberglass body as much as possible so that the metal isn't chafing or rubbing through that fiberglass. Then I'll take some stainless steel bolts, nuts, and washers and mount this to the body. I wanted to keep away from anything that would rust and end up leaving rust streaks down the side of the golf cart, and these stainless steel fasteners will be perfect to prevent that from happening. Once the frame has been attached to the golf cart, I'll move on to adding the deck boards over top, and to fasten this down I'm going to be using some metal self-tapping screws. They work great for this. They'll drill through the metal themselves and then screw directly in to fasten it down. Next, I want to add some sides on this golf cart, so I've got some boards here that I'm going to be using as sort of upright supports. I will hammer those down into the brackets I've created and then use some of those self-tapping metal screws to screw that into the frame so they don't come back out. And then I'm going to be using some of the deck boards that I've ripped down to smaller size to go horizontally in between those 2 uprights and tie everything together. Then I'll do the same thing with the back gate on this golf cart. I'll add some hinges. I have pins in there that I've replaced that I could easily just pull out by hand, and then that pops the hinges directly off of the golf cart, so I can use this as a gate to open it up, to load up anything I need to go in the back, or to remove anything, or I can just pull the pins out and unlatch the one side, and then it becomes a bench seat that anybody can sit back there and we can pull them around. Alright, so that just about finishes up the back rack on the golf cart as well as the video for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll give you a quick peek at what this looked like before when we first bought this. It was in pretty rough shape. Those seats were not usable. We've repainted everything, took it apart completely, repaired everything on this golf cart pretty much, and now this is what it's looking like now. So I still have a lot of work to do on this, but I took it for a quick spin and got some watermelon out of our garden. The basket on the back's working great, but I still need to fix the frame and the roof that goes on top of this golf cart in a future video. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned for the upcoming videos on this golf cart rebuild. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, hit that like button down below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Thanks guys, I'll see you in the next one.